Okay.
There you go.
We ready?
Andy, do you have
No, just be picked up.
Yeah, the mics aren't going to work.
Oh.
And I just need the presentation just so I can see that. Is the clicker over there?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Very much. Here's that. How's the battery on this thing? Good?
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Should be all right for a bit, yeah.
All right. Cool. Thank you. Let's put this here. Guide. Thank you. Okay. Here we go. You guys ready? Is everybody ready?
Yeah, we're
Ready to go?
live.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I have a special treat today. Andy McGinnis. Yeah.
Hi there.
Yeah. If we had, if we did this in front of a live audience, there'd be a lot of applause for Andy. That's better. That's better. So my name is Matt Cressy. I'm the founding director of IDM. We have a little technical difficulty today in that the system that would display my slides for the presentation about IDM is not working. So I'm going to just verbally give you a much quicker version of that, which might actually be better for most of you because my staff tells me that I'm very boring and it takes way too long. Yeah. So, and then Andy is here because he's going to have particularly insightful comments to make now and then. And Andy, you just jump in.
All right.
When you want.
I will.
Okay, great. So IDM started about 4 years ago. I started working on it 5 years ago. It took about a year of preparation to launch it. And it really stemmed from a couple of things, but really from my experience as a industrial designer, going out into the workforce after college and realizing that I just did not understand the language of engineering and business as a designer. So I'd be in these meetings and all these people would be talking about issues. I kind of understood what they were talking about, but I couldn't present my side of the story or my ideas in a compelling way because I didn't speak their languages. So I saw this as a really big limitation to my growth as an industrial designer. I also noticed that engineering and business didn't really want to learn my language of design. So if I spoke in, the language of design, they would kind of zone out or think that it's trivial. But design is not. Matter of fact, of those three disciplines, none of them are trivial, and they should all be integrated and should be collaborators. So I started thinking probably when I started teaching for RISD about 20 years ago, that it would be really great if we could provide designers, engineers, and business folks some sort of 2-year experience, sort of a terminal degree that would allow them to learn these other languages, learn how to empower themselves and those on their teams to do better work because you're actually factoring in all the needs of the organization. And those three disciplines tend to represent what most really successful companies do well. So, like for example, Tesla, the electric car is nothing new. Those have been around for a long time, even as long as Andy's been around. And not quite, Well, so yeah, just a little older than that. So, but they were never very successful. And I think in large part, there were political issues going on, but also there was never an electric car that really captured our emotional parts of us. They just weren't inspired designs. They were just like these things that got you from point A to point B without any real kind of excitement or pride. So, Tesla is a great example of a company that takes really cutting edge technology, combines it with cutting edge business models and designs and manufactures products that not only perform really well, but are emotionally compelling and get us really excited to buy them. And so that's what we're trying to do at IDM. We're trying to create people, mostly people that want to become leaders, that will go out into the world and create companies like Tesla, or then go out into existing companies and be entrepreneurial and help those companies understand the value of integration of those three disciplines and move them in a way that makes them more competitive and successful. So that's sort of the rationale behind IDM. You know, as I mentioned, we really want to create leaders. You know, like I think of Elon Musk or Ratan Tata, Steve Jobs. Let's see, I have some other people here, you know, like Chanel, you know, Charles and Ray Eames. You know, these are people who really understood the power of design, or really understand the power of design and integration. But on top of that, on top of everything I'm talking about, they also have a moral code and a set of values that are beneficial to society and to the world. And that's very important too. And IDM is really dedicated to that, and to selecting students that are true to those, to a set of values. So I'm looking at slides over here. So in short, we want to create people with vision, people with passion, people with love, and people that are committed and passionate and skilled, such that they can sort of change the fabric of society with what we believe in and teach. At IEM, we have a design innovation culture. You know, we teach multiple design processes: human-centered design, design-driven design, you know, inclusive design, universal design. So we kind of teach all of those things, and we provide, I think, a very inspiring environment. And most importantly, we provide extraordinary people to collaborate and work with and to learn from. Let's see, what else can I tell you? So for IDM students, we have 2 cohorts at all times, you know, first years and second years of 2-year program. Right now we have 48 students in total, and 33% of those students are engineers, and 33% of the students are designers, and 33% are entrepreneurs or people with business or management or finance backgrounds. So we really keep it balanced in terms of disciplines. The other thing we do is we balance the cohort in terms of gender. So we're very committed to always maintaining at least 50% women in the program, and you know, we've been successful since our inception in doing that, which I'm quite proud of. We like people to have work experience before they come to the program, and the average years of work experience for our students is about 5.7 years. The average age is about 28. And currently we have 58% women, and 60% of our student body is international. We also have a couple of established dual degree relationships. One is with Sloan School, and the other is with the engineering school, and some various engineering opportunities there. Our curriculum is, well, I was going to say it's pretty straightforward. It is straightforward, but you know, it would take me a long time to explain it all without a slide. But the first year, basically all students go through what we call the core curriculum, also known as ID Lab, and that's where it's really about integration of the 3 disciplines with an emphasis on design. And the reason that we emphasize design is that there's no design school here at MIT, so we kind of have to do that part in ID Lab. In addition to that, you'll take electives in the engineering school and the business school. And so we do teach engineering and business in ID Lab, but then you'll go deeper in full-blown engineering courses or business courses. The second year is really for students to create a thesis. You'll write a thesis, and you'll also finish up your elective requirements, business and engineering electives, and many students will start companies and launch them, as they're graduating. So we really like to encourage that. There's a wonderful ecosystem here at MIT that encourages entrepreneurship, and also other elements of MIT that actually help finance startups and entrepreneurs. So that's really good. So I thought this struck me. I thought I'd tell you a little bit more about Andy, because Andy and I are a rare kind of relationship in that.
Now I'm listening.
Yeah, that we've known each other since we were probably 19. So that's about 34 years. We let see he went more into product
model making, prototyping, product development.
Yep. Had a wonderful business in Boston called Monster Prototype. And I would use Andy to make prototypes for my business and other businesses at the time. And so we always stayed in touch. We always, and then when I started IDM, I was like, who could I bring in to teach people about making, about, actually working with materials? And it hit me, Andy. So we're just really fortunate to have Andy here. And I just always feel very touched and privileged that I have an old and great friend with me every day.
You're going to make me cry.
Yeah. Well, at least you're not wearing your skirt today, Andy.
Kilt.
Your kilt. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it a kilt? Okay. I got to get one of those. All right. So let's see. So the IDM curriculum, I won't go too deep on this, I don't think. Right?
It's available on the website.
Okay. So that's available on the website. That was just told to me by one of my antagonistic staff people over here. Her name is Melissa, by the way, if you ever meet her. Stay clear. Whoa.
There's some applause from Melissa. That's good.
Yeah. She was applauding for herself, by the way. Yeah. Okay. And but I will tell you about our daily schedule in ID Lab. So basically what happens is ID Lab, the core curriculum, meets twice a week, Mondays and Wednesdays. Starts at 11 o'clock in the morning and ends around 6 o'clock.
Yes, generally 6.
Okay. He's the guy who ends.
Sometimes we go over.
All right. So so around 6 o'clock. So that's a pretty good chunk of change. And here's what happens. The first hour, 11 to 12, we do what we call X hour. And X hour is sort of this hour where we bring in just guest speakers that we think will have value, but we like them to be kind of diverse and from maybe walks of life that are not part of entrepreneurship or product development or innovate. I mean, it might be innovative in, I don't know, creating a social system for, people who are looking for jobs after they've been incarcerated, or they might be someone who's, I don't know, running a pizza shop, but they're doing it in this really beautiful way that's, creates this incredible experience. So we'll bring in all kinds of different people there. So that's X hour. Then we have lunch. That's another hour. That's from 12 to 1. And then from 1 to 2:30, we have a lecture. And the lecture that's more kind of rigorous. It's really, the content is really pointed towards product development, product design, innovation, leadership, philosophical issues of being innovators, things like that. Then from 2:30 to 5 o'clock, or 4:30 actually, 2 o'clock to 4:30, we have studio time like you get in any design school or art school. And that's where people work. They work and design, and they make, and they iterate, and they there's trial and error, and the faculty's there to kind of coach and mentor and encourage, or sometimes discourage. Not Andy though; he's always encouraging. And then at 4:30 is workshop, and that's where Andy teaches for about an hour and a half on how to make something, and that could be, or how to use a tool. You want to talk about workshop a little bit?
Sure. We start early in the first semester with basic communication skills, either two-dimensional vector drawing or three-dimensional with basic model making. And we gradually get more advanced in our model making, and by this time in the semester, we are working on vacuuming, a little bit an introduction to sheet metal, how we make sheet metal parts, but also coming soon will be CNC machining, and we have a water jet available to us, so we'll be doing an introduction to how a water jet works, which is basically a wonderful machine that cuts almost anything using high pressure water.
So we flesh?
It will, yes, but hopefully not.
Okay.
We don't design for that.
Okay.
So we start out with hand skills, and we move into machine skills. In next semester, we'll be doing things like silicon molding and wood lamination, and some electronics and things like that. So
yeah, cool.
It'll be fun.
Yeah,
a little bit of everything.
Nice. CNCs, laser cutters.
Laser cutting. Yep.
Yeah.
That was a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great. All right. So in the program, you will do 3 projects. The first project is really a deep dive on user needs and emotions. So that's where you kind of really understand the problem and define it. And hopefully you do that at a very intimate level. And then we one of the things that I think people don't do well is once they understand the needs and emotions of their stakeholders, they don't really disseminate those findings very well. So, or communicate those findings to other people that are going to help them create a solution. So what happens is that the people that did that kind of research have a really good idea of the problem, but everyone who's helping them doesn't. And so there's disagreements on the team about, well, why should we do that? That doesn't make sense to me. And, it doesn't matter if it makes sense to the team. What matters if it makes sense to the stakeholders. So we focus on also this place in the process I call expression, which is where you express the problem to others and communicate it. And everyone has to create a presentation that really communicates that problem and makes us all feel empathy and really understand the nuances of what problem is to be solved. So that's the first project. Second project deals with another failure mode that I've witnessed from real life, and that is designers, engineers, business people who don't know how to make or scale a product. It seems like there's lots of companies out there that can make one prototype really well, but as soon as you translate that prototype to 10,000 units pumped out of a factory, in China or Mexico or somewhere, the whole product is destroyed, or the spirit of the product is destroyed, or the product has major failures or major problems, in yield. So the second project is really focused on that. And so we have the students in about 7 weeks. That's where they are right now, the second half of the fall semester, first semester, where they have to design and manufacture 50 units and then sell them all. And they actually make a profit doing this. So in 7 weeks, they go from being just students in IDM to IDM entrepreneurs, and they actually make money, and they have money for presents for the holidays. So that's the second project. The third project happens in the second semester of the first year, and that's a 14-week project where instead of designing a product for small volumes like 50 or 100 or 300 using methods for that volume, we have the students design a product as if it's going to be handed off to a contract manufacturer in China and will be made in tens of thousands. And so now we get into different methods. You might get molds for plastic parts as opposed to machining those, you know, in the second project. In the third project, you will be engineering those parts, you know, for molding conditions. You will be looking at, you know, electrical components that you can buy, you know, at scale, at cost, and things like that. And there'll be a business model that goes with that, a plan, and that culminates in a final presentation of the first year that really, so basically is like pitching a new business idea. So that's the third project.
Can you touch a little bit on some of the projects that don't have a physical product outcome?
Oh, that's a good point. So some of our products may not actually be physical. They might be digital products. It could be software. They could be an app. We also love it when students address social problems. And so, you know, like maybe they create, they go and they do user research, and they understand a problem in, you know, like a housing project here in Cambridge. And the solution is really an experience that's created for that population and so creating that experience, whether it's a after school program or, you know, an event or something like that. So we love the process to be applied to any experience. A product is a physical device that enables a user experience. Digital product is software that enables a user experience. A performance at, you know, theater, ballet, anything, you know, that is sort of created and designed that you experience is something where our methods can be useful. Does that cover everything you had in mind?
Sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to add anything?
I wanted to just touch a little bit on the project that focused on refugees that were in, I think, right in camps that were right next to the English Channel.
Mm-hmm.
So people gathering there looking to get out into Europe or into Britain. And one of the teams developed a really nice education program for the kids in those camps. So that using everything that IDM teaches, teaching those kids to be entrepreneurs, so that they wouldn't be stuck in the cycle of refugee camps. I thought that was
that was a good project.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for adding that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I had some slides to show you about all these projects. So we'll skip through those. In our 4 years, we've really gotten a lot of attention, it seems, from industry. We have so many companies now looking at our graduates that are interested in recruiting, and they range, you know, from, you know, really great consulting firms, you know, like Altitude, IDEO, Continuum, to companies that are really big, like Apple and Amazon, Schlumberger. We've had interest from Tesla. Our student turned them down, I believe, didn't go there. And, you know, and it's sort of everything in between. So about, let's see, about 60% of our students get jobs, and the other 40% become entrepreneurial. And some of those companies are Waypoint, Bloomer Tech, Kalani, Atola, Skill List, Human Element, D3 Diagnostic, Aver Technologies, and they have, you know, they're all companies I'm very proud of, and some of them have even been acquired already. So very proud of our students and what they've been able to accomplish in such a short period of time. One of the highlights for me, and I think for the students, is our graduation ceremony. We have a little private IDM graduation ceremony. I mean, everybody participates in the huge MIT graduation ceremony, but the day before, the day after, we do our little IDM thing. We charter a boat. We go out into Boston Harbor. We have a beautiful kind of meal and experience, and then some words are spoke, and we give everyone a very special sort of physical present. So that's something that we all look forward to.
That's when a lot of us meet families for the first time.
That's right. Yeah. And what a great venue to meet them in.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
It's really amazing. Yeah. All right. So admissions. So they're now open. If you want to apply, the URL is idm.mit.edu/apply. Okay, so that's idm.mit.edu/apply. And you'll see all the things that are required, but I'll go over them really quickly. So you'll have to have 3 letters of recommendation. You'll have to submit your GRE or GMAT scores. We take either. Okay. If applicable, you need to provide your TOEFL or ELTS scores. That's for folks where English is their second language. And you'll need to submit your resume. You'll need to submit a vision statement. Okay, there's instructions. There's a little prompt, a question, that will kind of get you thinking. And then you'll have to submit a portfolio. And there are requirements and instructions on what's expected in that portfolio. And that's a little bit problematic, I think, for the business applicants and also most of the engineering applicants. But there's lots of support on our website for frequently asked questions. And if you have any questions, you can always get in touch with us. And we're happy to have a phone call with you and just help you with that. After all that information has been digested by us, and it sometimes takes a lot of time, we will select finalists, and those that are selected as finalists will be asked to come in for an interview. And that has to be in person, but if it's too hard to get here, we're happy to do a Skype call or Zoom or something like that, a video interview. Okay, and then the admissions deadline this year, we only have 1 deadline. We went from 3 the first year to 2, and now finally we have 1 deadline. It's February 1st, 2019. Okay, and then well, I have this great slide. I'm just going to show it to you. You know, and this is our cohort. Kind of hard to see, but this is our what our cohort looks like. And below that is our mission, which I'll read to you, which is to enable IDM's mission is to enable the learning and development of extraordinary, innovative leaders that will bring new levels of creativity, vision, and integrity to business and society. And I say that because that really is our mission. You know, this is not a program where we're going to teach you craft, or we're going to teach you to be a better engineer, a better industrial designer, a better entrepreneur. That's not really what this is about. It's about making a meaningful impact in the world using the tools that implement good business, because through business and the flow of basically profit, there's power. And if in that power, the messaging is of love and compassion and sort of collective goodness, I think that is a way of financially and sustainably improving our society in perpetuity. All right. Thank you. With that, I would like to invite a couple of students to join Andy and me. Here's a chair. We've got a couple of chairs. So we have Samit and Kevin. And these guys are in their first year of IDM. And you guys, would you like to just maybe say a little something about yourselves?
Hi, my name is Samit Jan. I have a computer science background, and I have worked for the last 3 years. Last company was Boeing India, and now here at IDM.
Excellent, thank you.
Hi, my name is Kevin Yu. My background is in industrial design. I was working as a designer in Shanghai for 3 years, and now I'm here.
Awesome. Yeah, so if you have questions, now's the time to send them our way. Okay, so actually here's a question. Could you talk about how the IDM curriculum covers UI, UX, product design for digital products? So what we do is we teach the various design processes and business concepts that can be applied to, as I was mentioning earlier, any product. So for example, if you are creating, let's say, an online experience, an app or a website or something like that, you would do the same process. First thing you do is you'd identify your market and your stakeholders, right? And you would try to understand through interviews and observational research what their needs and emotions are related to the topic of this particular project. And from that, you would create and communicate the problem and define it and create a design brief. And then you would start iterating designs. And in this case, you'd be using Sketch or Illustrator or something like that. You'd be storyboarding. And so what we teach is that process when, we kind of feel that digital products are, we do have some sessions on how to do this stuff. But again, if you need to do this at a very high level, you would have a UI UX designer working with you. Just like if you're working on a physical product, you would have an industrial designer working on that. So that's really how we kind of approach it. And if someone is doing a project, whether it's a social solution or a digital solution or a product solution, whatever it is, we always kind of supply the experts, the skill, training, the mentorship that's required for that particular thing. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
No, you covered it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good. I will tell you this, we do have a bias on physical product. Most of our teaching revolves around bringing physical product to market. It's not because we care more about one than the other, but it's that physical product is just harder to bring to market because of the scaling issue. Once you design it and you have to make 100,000, it's not as easy as just sort of uploading it to the App Store and making it available to millions of people where people download and pay, right? When you actually ship 1 million products, you have a factory with thousands of people, well, not maybe hundreds of people that are devoted to building this product every day, day in and day out at a quality level and at a yield that is profitable for everybody involved. There's also the logistics of shipping, right? Fulfillment and billing and, writing purchase orders and invoicing and tariffs, right? And harmony codes and all kinds of stuff. So we like to start with the really tough stuff, and you can back out of that to the stuff that is a little bit easier. Okay. Question number 2. Are students expected to have experience in workshop or building physical products?
I can cover that one.
Okay. And then, the
answer is no, you're not required to. You may have these experiences already, which is great. Many of our students have, when they come to my workshops and they either learn to use something like a handsaw or a utility cutting knife or a bandsaw, it's the first time they've even seen one. So we give them that experience. And other people come with some mastery of some sort of making or building, but it's not required. And I think the rest of the question is for you guys. How have your experiences been so far? And you can say what you want. We'll forget it if you criticize us.
All right,
well, mostly it's about Andy, so you can
Okay, yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah.
So, as my background is in software development, so I have not used a lot of products or a lot of machinery tools before. But part of engineering background allowed me to go and learn about the tools. So I've used a couple of tools, but there were a lot of different tools which came new to me, like the molding tool which we used yesterday. It was completely new for me.
Oh, back for me.
Yeah,
Oh,
the vacuum
yeah.
former, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was completely new. for me. So I think there are tools which are not really required. You have to learn from beginning, but it's good to have a good experience here and learn from them.
Yeah. Kevin?
Oh, well, I came in with some making experience. I studied industrial design in undergrad, so a lot of this is familiar to me, but I think like there's some good opportunity for me to even improve my workshop skills a little bit. And yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of our classmates who have like no experience in this kind of work. So yeah, I think it's totally fine if there's no experience.
Yeah, and I'll just add that we've created this for all three disciplines to be successful. And so, you know, that means also that sometimes when we're teaching model making, Kevin's bored, you know, but Samip is like, I can't do this, you know, it's like, it's overwhelming, right? So we have these, you know, we have students that no matter what we're doing, you know, we could be teaching how to create a net present value cash flow projection. And the business people are like, oh my God, it's so boring. And Kevin is like, oh my God, I've never seen this before in my life. So we always have that kind of problem, but it's not a bad problem. And the way to think about it is that, you know, Kevin can always go to the business students, his peers, and say, can you give me some tutorial on this content? And they'll help him. And likewise, he can help Samip with, you know, sketching, you know, whatever.
So Matt's throwing around the word boring. I would just want to point out that these instructors and teachers that we have are amazing. There is no boring stuff going on here, except for Matt's lectures.
All right, next question. Question 3. Okay, guys, this is for you two. Why did you pick this program? What were the factors and characteristics that attracted you?
I chose this program because of the human-centered design approach, since I have an engineering background, but I also wanted to learn more about design and see how I can apply all these things to the entrepreneurship space and see how to run a product-based company. I have already started run a software-based company, but not a product-based company ever. So this course or the program will give me the taste of running a product-based company. I thought this would be a good experience for me and to learn from all the different backgrounds.
Great. And Kevin?
In my work experience, I haven't really had a chance to work with like a lot of designers, and my background is in design, so I kind of wanted a place where I can get out of the design bubble and work with people with like an engineering background or like a business background. So that's kind of why I wanted to come into a program like this. I applied for several different programs with like a similar structure, but you know, after looking through all of them, I felt like this one kind of matched my personality and culture a little bit better. So ultimately, that was kind of the deciding factor for me.
Just a little follow-on. So you guys came to the program with a set of expectations before you had arrived on campus, right?
Yeah.
And then, so what were those, like, just think back before you ever set foot on campus, before boot camp. What were you expecting when you got, you know? Can you remember? It's sort of hard to remember, but you know, like what were you expecting? Because I want to find out if there's a difference between what you expected and what you got, because that could be interesting to sort of reflect on.
My only expectation was to learn as much as possible, to add skills to my tool set. Like I have engineering background, but I also wanted to learn about design or the business skill set. So the expectation was to add skills rather than repeating skills or like being an expert on something. To add skill set to be more like an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So that was the only expectations I had.
Okay. And Kevin, what were your expectations? Do you remember?
I mean, I've done some pretty significant research into the program, so it kind of aligned with my expectations pretty well. And then we were talking about this earlier, just kind of coming in with like an open mind and just kind of going with the flow. And I think the way the program is structured is that there's pretty good like flexibility. Like you can kind of tailor it to you know, what your goals are, like what you want to accomplish. So I think that's kind of you know, that kind of makes it a little bit easier to manage.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and generally we love diversity. We love all kinds of different sort of life trajectories, and I think we do a pretty good job of supporting all those unique trajectories, we'll kind of modify what we're doing to support the individual, once we kind of know what that is. All right, question number 4. Could you talk more about the previous IDM students who have worked on healthcare specific products? Okay, I can't do this. Anybody? Sarah?
Sarah Hudson.
Yeah, go ahead.
She started, what's the name of her company?
Waypoint?
Waypoint. There's one company where it's a software-based service. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know all the details, but I know that it basically is making certain parts of the healthcare industry sort of on the backroom side of it extremely easy for everybody involved. Yeah. And there's also Bloomer Tech, right, which also started by our very first cohort. And that is a heart monitor, a body-worn heart monitor for women, because women are very underserved when it comes to heart health studies. So this device is really revolutionizing that whole heart health area for women.
All right. Yeah.
Both.
Can you guys think of any other health related?
I think Jonathan Miller, who's my mentor, he's doing something. He's making like a medical device for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's doing a medical device. He also, I think, helped invent like a tattoo that's semi-permanent, so you can actually mark the body for if you're making an incision or you're taking blood from various places, you can mark those spots so that you have all the staff over a period of time in the hospital know kind of where to go and what to do. So that's sort of very interesting as well. Okay, so there's probably more activity on that. I mean, one of the things that's been challenging is that now that we have lots of students, it's hard to keep track of all the things they're doing. It's just all over the place and just great. Okay, question 5, Matt, how would you define the vision statement? I think I'm going to interpret that question as, Matt, can you tell me more about what you mean or hope to see in a vision statement? Okay, I hope I got that right. But what we really want to see or understand from you is what your vision is for yourself. And, the way I like to look at our admissions is that we're not selecting students for IDM. We're actually selecting people that we think IDM can help. So in other words, it's not about being qualified for IDM. I think everyone is uniquely intelligent and uniquely special and has a unique contribution to make. The question is that contribution that will unfold over your life, is that a contribution that we think we can augment, that we can amplify in your life? And some people we can do that because it's on topic, and others maybe we can't, and there's a better program out there for you or a different program. So the vision statement really helps us kind of understand whether we can make a big difference in your life or not. And so for that reason, it's very important that your vision statement be authentic and true to who you are. If it is, and we feel that there's a wonderful kind of synergy and fit there, then we're going to call you in for an interview. And I just want to, if you're ever rejected for any reason whatsoever, I've been rejected more than probably any of you have, and more than you ever will. And I just want you to know that, that these are just people's opinions, including my own, and there's just no right or wrong. I mean, there's just error, and I think I've been, on that error side most of my life, but it forced me to make my own opportunities, right? I had to do that on my own, which made me, independent, and it forced me to empower myself and to develop methods of empowerment for people who have nothing, right? And And so I think that's also something that IDM tries to do, is provide people with those skills to empower themselves. Okay. Question number 6, how is the workload for students? You guys, what do you think?
Okay, I'll start. I mean, I think it's different for different classmates. Like I've heard from some people it's a lot of work. For me personally, I feel like it's not too bad. Like I'm able to get all my coursework done and work on other projects on the side.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it depends on the class, how many classes you are taking. If you're taking a really hard class, which has a lot of projects, a lot of quiz, then you will face a lot of difficulties in completing all the assignments on time. But again, if you manage your classes accordingly, then I think it's pretty good. Like you can complete your assignments and can attend events or can work on different projects as well.
Yeah.
That depends on the classmates.
Okay. I think also another factor is that, there's so many opportunities at MIT. There's so many teams that are looking for collaborators. And I think IDM students are very desirable because they usually have this hybrid sensibility to, innovation. And a lot of our students will jump onto all these various teams and quickly become overwhelmed with too much to do. So what we've been advising lately, now that we've become aware of this, is that you really limit, try to exercise some discipline in the amount of projects you become a part of. Okay, question 7: is there a formal mentorship program in IDM? So starting this year, we began a mentorship program between the second years, so the students that are in their second year of the program, where they mentor the students that just arrived and are in their first year. And I think that's going very well, and we're really happy about that. You guys happy about that? Yeah, good. So how has that been helpful?
So I think for me, like I know most of the second years, so if I need any help and I know that they are good at that thing, I just text them and can you help me with this?
Yeah.
So it's just that thing. And like my mentor is helpful in terms that I've met him once, and whenever I face problem like in project 2, I just text him, can you guide me with this process? I'm facing difficulty, like from where should I get the product or where should I get the materials?
Great.
So those kind of information I can get from them.
Awesome.
I think that's helpful.
Great.
And I just feel like my mentor is like really well matched with me. Like he has gone through a lot of the similar things that I'm trying to go through right now. So having him, having this experience and being able to, for me to tell him my goals and, having him help me out with, that process has been really helpful.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear it. Okay. And the last question, please talk about the different networking opportunities for IDMers to meet folks from other departments at MIT. You guys want to talk about that?
I love meeting new people, and I stay in MIT Dome, so there are a lot of events happening there, and I generally go out on MIT campus and try to find more events, and I meet a lot of different people at MIT.
Yeah. From
Martin Cross Center or from School of Engineering or from any other department related to Sloan. So I think there's a good network opportunity there. You can talk to students and see what kind of projects they are working on, and if you find some resonance, then maybe you can see and collaborate with them. So I think I've been involved in 2 or 3 different projects based on my networking here at MIT. So I think that's really helpful.
That's great. Kevin, have you had any?
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking a Sloan class right now, and we're basically just a group project. So, I've been able to get really close with these MBA students and kind of learn about their backgrounds. So yeah, I think there's like an abundance of networking opportunities at MIT in general. There's like a lot of events. You can do like a hackathon. That's a really good way to meet people. So yeah, you definitely can.
Yeah, I think it's again, the problem won't be finding opportunities. It will be not exercising discipline so that you're only working on enough projects that you can handle at a time. So that's the problem, is actually throttling it down as opposed to trying to find opportunities.
And some of our students have actually taken a very short subway ride to Harvard University, and they've become involved there too.
Yeah. Harvard.
I know. It looks good on the resume though, right?
Okay, so that brings us to the end. Thank you all for joining us. Sorry about our technical difficulties. If you want to see a more conventional info session, I'm sure there's some on YouTube somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there
There's multiple out there.
all right, just Google it, you'll find it. And you can be bored even more than you were today, because Andy won't be there. And let's see, anything else I need to add, you guys? All right, so thank you all, and we look forward to seeing or hearing from you.